Hello, namaste and welcome in the series of cybersecurity. This side is Meena and today I will discuss about what are the common attacks on embedded system. Embedded system are available or just are the part of are so many devices, okay, and or hackers are always in the hunt of finding kind of vulnerabilities on the embedded devices, and if they will successfully perform the attack on that one, then definitely they can create disaster on those devices, or they can control remotely those devices. They can get the information whatever they want. They can interrupt the working of the devices, okay. So always hackers we can say interesting area of performing the attack on the devices that are embedded, okay. So in today's session I will just going to discuss about what are the different common attacks possible on the embedded system. So as we know, embedded systems, those are the hardware which is having their own software, okay, and that software is a firmware. And if the security features are not considered properly on that one, then definitely a small leakage can create a lot of trouble and can give a lot of information or control, remote control to the hackers, okay. So if the hackers just going to perform an attack on an embedded system, then if that exists on the software basis, okay, so they can send some malware, they can implant, they can deploy some kind of malicious program on it, and with the help of that program they can control remotely, okay, or whatsoever the information they want, they can extract that information from that device. And if they want to interrupt the working of it, and even they can use that particular device after affecting it for their own use, okay. So that's the choice of the hackers, whatever they want to do or what kind of attack they just perform, okay. They can again another software based attack is a brute force accessing, means they are using the hit and trial methods which will perform, yes, if for example just to get the credential for the admin right, okay. So they want to accelerate the privilege access so that they will get the right on the particular server and can have access on it and can get the information, okay. So they can also perform it. And memory overflow, buffer overflow, every memory has having some kind of limited space, okay. If the hacker will perform too much just send too much data on the memory, and if that not be able to uh, accumulate or just to accommodate that particular data, then definitely it will just overflow it, and whatever the information that it leaked it down, they can just capture it, or just putting too much information during that attack, they can have the malicious software inside it which they will give access to execute, or they can also execute the remote commands which will give them remote access, okay. Or another is web service exploits. So whatever the web services we are using to perform on our devices, if they are just going, yes, this particular service I'm just for example HTTP services I'm using, and if that's not secure, we know that's not secure. So if we are just going to send some sensitive information it, or just some port deliberately or just unknowingly we can say just open, and then they will execute some kind of attack on it, or whatsoever the services started on it, or what after just getting the right on that particular device, they can also run the services which they required, okay. Next level is that's the network based attack they can perform. Man in middle attack they can perform, okay. And they just whatever the information that device is passing, they are just getting a copy of it, or they are just watching it, what information is just passing through the particular part, and just we are performing the attack on it, okay. DNS poisoning, the when we are saying www.yahoo.com means for us it's a normal naming, but for computer it cannot understand this language. So the DNS is storing the name against the IP addresses. So for our convenience it's just sending it. If they were poisoning that one, okay, because DNS server, if that's having that information in their cache, then definitely it will answer to us on the basis of that query. If that doesn't exist, then definitely they will just look for the next level of the DNS server. So if they for example, we are accessing some very critical information of our server, okay, and the same kind of attack they also performed on it, or to just manipulate the queries of the DNS, then it can be redirect us to the different website, okay, or so whatever the information we are sharing, that can be also routed to the another established network of the hackers, okay. So they can also perform the DDoS attack, okay, session hijacking. Whatsoever the session established between the server and the client, they can also observe it and can hijack it. Or the signal jamming with the wireless devices, they can near to our wireless devices, they can also send lot of signals which will just interrupt our wireless signals as well, or they can send a lot of traffic which will create congestion over the network, and when the congestion will be over there, then definitely it will just broadcast the information. So they can use that technique as well. Another is a side based kind of attack. Power analysis, timing attacks, and the electromagnetic analysis that's come under it. So what is the power consumption on those devices, how much power they are using, what the processing powers of the devices can be, okay, or what's the timing the devices just power on, okay, and they can also change the timing of that particular devices, or the electromagnetic field, how much is the electromagnetic field around that particular device. They can create a manipulation of it. Although this is the very hard to perform those kind of attack, but hackers who are really very technical, definitely they can perform those attacks. So there are embedded devices. We are just surrounded with so many devices which are using the embedded devices, and if they will perform the attack on it, multiple kind of attacks are possible. So guys, opportunity for you to understand that hacking side as well, offensive side, defensive side, and just make a bright, beautiful future in the field of cybersecurity. And you can follow me on the Cybersecurity Prism and get the notification for the next interesting and informative session. Share that session with your friends and group members as well, so that they will be able to understand what kind of attacks are possible on the embedded devices and what hackers can do. And that's the opportunity lies for you to understand the security, cyber security, offensive side, defensive side, and then also you can make your career in the field of cybersecurity. And in the next session, I will discuss about, do you know about the important parts of information security? If no, then attend the session and get the information about it. Namaste. See you in the next session.